record. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation's COVID-19 Resources Webinar Series. I am Angela Amirkanian, Program Manager, and today's webinar moderator. We thank you for joining us today to learn about the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, where my colleague Lyndon and I will share important information on the grant, who is eligible, and how to apply. LAEDC is a 501c3 public benefit nonprofit organization whose mission is to harness the power of private sector in collaboration with LA County to guide economic development and create more widely shared prosperity. We have a wonderful team of business assistance experts who are available countywide and multilingual to assist you with your business needs. And you can find their contact information on the next couple slides. And here to present information about the grant, as well as share information about our business assistance programs and all the services that we have available for you, is my colleague, Lyndon Johnson.
Thanks, Angela. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. We are part of the LAEDC, and I'm a member of our business assistance team, and we're here to help you provide complimentary and confidential consulting to both large and small businesses across all industries throughout the county. There are several areas and different things we can assist you with, whether or not that's workforce training and development, expedited permitting assistance, tax incentives, access to capital, site selection, cost containment strategies, and business resilience resources. And in April 2020, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and economic crisis, we started our LA County Community Connectory, which provides valuable resources to vulnerable residents, businesses, and nonprofits. And we help with things like, positioning you for economic recovery, reopening guides and information, COVID-19 resource webinars like this one here, grant and loan opportunities, and different economic analysis and outlooks from our Institute of Applied Economics. And you can get all this information on our website, laedc.org/coronavirus. I encourage everyone to please visit it on a consistent basis and after this webinar today to find valuable resources. And as you can see, we can connect you to all different resources, whether or not it's permit assistance with city permits, with the public health department, financing options, whether or not those are SBA loans, connections to the small business development centers, energy efficiencies with your local utilities, whether or not that's Southern California Edison, Southern California Gas Company, or LADWP. And we can also help you with workforce needs. We work very closely with our America's Job Centers of California to help connect you and your employees with different training programs, or if you were looking to set up internships, any layoff aversion services or anything like that, we can definitely assist with. And general economic data, as well as programs to reduce your risk, connect you with programs with CMTC, one of our great partners, and any cost segregation programs as well. So the reason why you're here, right, about this grant, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. So with this grant, it's part of the American Rescue Plan Act that was put into law on March 11th. It has approximately $28.6 billion for this program, and funds must be used for eligible resources no later than March 11, 2023. An application portal just opened on Monday, May 3rd. And SBA can provide grant funding up to $5 million per location, but not to exceed $10 million for applicants that have different businesses. And the minimum award is $1,000. And all applicants have to certify that they have economic uncertainty as due to the pandemic. So who is eligible, right? So it includes restaurants, food stands, caterers, bars, snacks, bakeries, breweries, wineries and distilleries, inns, all different kinds of different types of business. But if you're not a restaurant bar, for some of these entities like wineries, distilleries, or inns, you just have to make sure that more than 33% of your 2019 revenue was from food and beverage sales to the public. So who is ineligible? So entities that are ineligible if are ones that if any of the following apply. So if you're a state or local government operated business, as of March 31st, if you had more than 20 locations, or if you have a pending application with a similar grant through the SBA, the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, if you're a public traded company, if you're permanently closed, and if you are a nonprofit organization. Eligible applicants can be in any of the following forms: C Corp, S Corps, partnerships, sole proprietors, tribal businesses, LLCs tagged as S corporations. B corporations are eligible as well. Just make sure that you select C Corp or S Corp on the application. And if you have any questions about whether or not you would put self-employed or sole proprietor, please make sure to consult your tax professional. And again, eligibility of franchises. Any franchises are eligible. Just make sure you look on the SBA list of their franchise directory and click the one that is applicable to what you are. If your brand is not listed on the directory for any reason, you just must submit a franchise disclosure document, which you can get on the SBA website as well. So as well as if you have claimed bankruptcy. So if you are operating under an approved plan of reorganization and you filed a Chapter 11, 12, or 13 bankruptcy, you are eligible for this grant. The applicant, but you are not eligible if you're permanently closed, or if you filed a Chapter 7 liquidation bankruptcy, or if you filed Chapter 7, 11, 12, or 13 bankruptcy, but you don't yet have an approved plan of reorganization. And just to let you know, permanently closed doesn't mean that if you close due to the pandemic and you're able to reopen now or partially open, that does not qualify as permanently closed. You are eligible for this grant. So different programs, right? How is this different from other SBA programs? For this one, you don't need to be registered with sam.gov, and the SBA does not require a DUNS or CAGE identifier. And as long as you have valid unexpired ITNs are acceptable, and ITNs are individual taxpayer identification numbers. And how do SBA relief programs impact this restaurant relief program? So if you have gotten funds through the Paycheck Protection Program, those funds will be deducted from your grant amount. And just make sure that if you did apply for the first draw of the PPP or the second, that you use the same EIN you used there. And if you had multiple EINs, just make sure that you apply with all of those EINs as well. So eligible uses of funds, you might be asking yourself, what can I use these funds for, right? So the three headings are business expenses, construction expenses, or business debt. So some examples of business expenses would be payroll costs, utility payments, business food and beverage expenses, or business supplies. Some construction expenses would be the construction of outdoor seating. If you had to do that in order to be compliant, you can use that, or any expansion costs are ineligible, unfortunately. And business debt, you can see that business debt service, are eligible as well, but not the prepayment or principal, or prepayment of principal or interest is not. And then when to use the funds. Funds must be spent on all expenses that were incurred between February 15, 2020 and March 11, 2023. And say your business closes prior to March 11, 2023, that's the end of the period in which to expend the money. And if that happened, any money that you hadn't previously expended, you would have to return to the government. Use of funds assessment. After the total awards have been exhausted, you have to provide a detailed expenditure report and certification for how the funds were spent. And then each year, beginning this December 2021, you have to provide an unaudited data detailing how the funds were used. So application documentation. So you need to fill out the application, which is SBA Form 3172. You need to prove verification of tax information. You can use IRS Form 4506T. And then gross receipts documentation. There are different ways in which you can do that, whether or not that's your business tax returns, your 1040. For partnership, you can use your Form 1065, point of sale reports. There's a couple different ways in which you can show that. And then what to exclude from your 2020 gross receipts. So for that, don't include any money received from either the first round or second round of the PPP, any Section 1112 payments you made, your SBA EIDL loan, any state or local business grants you received, or your FRRP appropriation. So calculating your potential fund amount, right? Everybody wants to know how much money can you get. So there are a couple different ways to calculate that. The first calculation method is if your business was in operation prior to January 1st, 2019. What you would do is you take your 2019 gross receipts minus your 2020 gross receipts. And then if you did receive a PPP loan amount, you would further minus that from the amount, and that amount would be your loan amount. Calculation 2 is for applicants that began operations partially through 2019. And the way in which you would get your grant amount would be you would take your average 2019 monthly gross receipts, multiply that by 12, and then subtract your 2020 gross receipts. And then again, if you did receive any PPP money, you would again subtract that from there. So if your business started partially in 2019, you can either use calculation 2 or calculation 3. Calculation 3, again, is for any businesses that started operation between January 1st, 2020 and March 10th, 2021. And what you would do is you take your total amount spent on eligible expenses between February 15, 2020 and March 11, 2021, and minus your 2020 and 2021 gross receipts minus your PPP loan amounts. Don't worry if you might have gotten confused by everything I was saying. We're going to send you a copy of this PowerPoint to you after, and it'll make sense then. So again, your application documentation, if you use calculations 1 and 2, so here's some of the required documents you'd have: your application, tax verification, 3 months of bank statements, and your gross receipts. Obviously, they'd like to have your tax returns if possible, or any point of sale reports you may have. If you use calculation 3, again, you need your application, your tax verification form, 3 months of your bank statements, and your 2020 and 2021 gross receipts, at least one for each year. Of course, again, they prefer if you were able to submit your tax returns or any point of sale reports. So application documentation. So in addition to what was on the prior slide, if you are a brew pub, tasting room, tap room, brewery, winery, distillery, or bakery, you just have to show documentation again, like we spoke about earlier, that 33% of your gross receipts were from food and beverage sales to the public. And for applicants that are an inn, the same thing would apply as well. You just have to show that 33% of your gross receipts were from food and beverage sales to the public. So again, how to apply? The website here is www.tinyurl.com/SBA-RRF 2021. Here's the phone number if you have any questions, but you can apply either via the website or phone number. But these funds the grant is available until it is exhausted, and telephone applications do have longer processing time. So just keep that in mind.
Thank you, Lyndon. We will now open up for some questions from our viewers. So if you have any questions, please submit them in either the Q&A box or the chat box, and we will be happy to address them. And in the meantime, while questions arrive, I just want to remind you one more time to visit our website, laedc.org/coronavirus. This is our designated page for resources, news, grant opportunities, webinar registration links, and further information as we get them is updated on this website. So please do check it, as it is updated as soon as we receive information. And we're happy to provide our audience with any opportunities that come our way. The fund website, once again, that you'll need to access in order to complete the application, as well as to receive information that we've presented today in full detail. So they have lots of downloadable guides, how-tos for the application, found on tinyurl.com/SBARRF2021.
Definitely. And we definitely want to encourage you guys too to check out our website as well. And, you know, if you have any questions, maybe you don't have any now, but as you go through the application, you find that you have a question, please feel free to reach out to us, or any questions you have. We want to be a resource to you, and anyone that you know that might have any questions, please send them our way. We'll be happy to assist.
Thank you, Lyndon. And today's presentation, once again, will be emailed to everyone. So you will hear directly from one of our business assistance experts in your region, as well as a video recap of this presentation will be uploaded to both our YouTube channel as well as our website. Okay, and until questions do come in, if anyone has any questions, I do want to share a few other resources with you that are available on this slide. So we've also been presenting the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. So anytime there's a new grant opportunity, we like to let our networks know there are many grant opportunities to come our way. For example, this one was specific to the restaurant industry. This one is specific to venues and operators and museums, theatrical venues. So the next one you can catch is actually tomorrow. May 11th at 2 p.m. You can register on our website if you or anyone knows that fits into these qualifications. There's also an opportunity to host a mobile vaccination clinic on site of your business for your employees only. So the only qualification to meet there is if you are a business within LA County and if you have 10 or more employees. So you can host a vaccination site at your business location for your employees. And lastly, there is a great campaign called Safer at Work, where you can visit saferatwork.la and download really great campaign collateral that promotes a safe reopening for Los Angeles. So there's industry specific ones, general ones, and really great collateral you can use and assist you with your reopening of your business. Okay, and it doesn't seem like we have any questions. So with that said, thank you, Lyndon, and thank you everyone that joined us this afternoon. And we hope this information was of value to you, and we hope to see you again next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing day.